This program is for discussion purpose only. Business Plus TV or any of our anchor does not bear any responsibility or liability towards the content.
नाज़रीन, वेलकम टू द मार्केट शो। मैं हूं अली नासिर। आज जिस मौजू के ऊपर हम गुफ्तगू करेंगे वो बड़ा ही मुनफरिद नौइयत का है, क्योंकि आप जानते हैं कि हमारा एक मुनफरिद प्रोग्राम इस लिहाज से भी है कि हम बैनुल-अक़वामी सतह के ऊपर न सिर्फ के सफ़ीरों को अपने प्रोग्राम में दावत देते हैं, सफ़ीर न सिर्फ के हमारा प्रोग्राम देखते हैं, पसंद करते हैं, बल्कि इसके अलावा अब हम आगाज़ इस सिलसिले का भी करते हैं कि हम बैरूनी ममालिक से आने वाली कारोबारी सनती शख्सियात जो कि पाकिस्तान और पाकिस्तानियों के साथ अच्छा कारोबार करना चाहती हैं और हमारी मईशत को फलने फूलने के अंदर हमारी मदद करेंगे, उनको भी प्रोग्राम के ऊपर वक्तन फ़वक्तन दावत देते रहते हैं। और आज ख़ास तौर के ऊपर प्रोग्राम जो है वो अंग्रेज़ी ज़ुबान में होगा, ताहम मेहमान हमारे अंग्रेज़ी बोलने वाले मुल्क से ताल्लुक़ नहीं रखते, लेकिन फिर भी आसानी आपकी समझने और हमारे मेहमानों के समझने के लिए हम प्रोग्राम के अंदर अब अंग्रेज़ी में गुफ्तगू करेंगे। सबसे पहले टॉपिक से आप लोगों को आगाह करता चलूँ। द टॉपिक फॉर टुडे इज़ पाकिस्तान रशिया बायलैटरल ट्रेड, एंड वी हैव द प्लेजर ऑफ हैविंग ए वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट गेस्ट on our program today, Mr. Sergey Vasilyev. I hope I'm pronouncing it right now. He is the acting chairman of the Russian Business Council for Cooperation with Pakistan. And along with him, we have Mr. Farooq Afzal, who is the chairman of the Pakistan-Russia Business Council. He comes to our program pretty often, so I don't think we need any further introduction.
Thank you.
I'll start my conversation with Mr. Sergey. Mr. Sergey, Pakistan and Russia are now redefining their relationship, whether it be on a level of international strategic diplomacy or a new chapter in economic cooperation. Where do you see Pakistan and Russia trade standing today, and what is your vision or the vision of your countrymen for the future?
I agree 100% with you. It's very difficult to talk only about trade. We should have comprehensive approach towards our relations, because both Russia and Pakistan are playing very big role in the international political life, and I hope in future the role in economic field of both countries will also grow up. And from this point of view, I'm very happy that bilateral relations on highest level are now developing very smoothly, and maybe Pakistan is one of the best friends of Russia, I hope, at least. And I'm feeling this from Moscow side of the globe, and when I came here, the same feelings I did have. Meeting with very many Pakistani friends, mainly business people, thanks to Mr. Farooq. And I'm just second time in Pakistan. First time it was last year in November. We had the Intergovernmental Commission session.
Yes.
And to my pity, the very first business forum, because we should began this kind of activities much earlier.
That delegation was a high-level delegation, as I know, and a minister led that. I think for your minister equals the same for drugs and narcotics control in our country.
Yes,
if I
Minister of State,
yes.
Mr. Ivanov, and he was, and I hope is, a very, very prominent supporter of developing Russian Pakistani relations in economic field and many others as well. There should be comprehensive approach. For example, during this Intergovernmental Commission, there was a decision to establish new 4 working groups. Before it was just energy, was I suppose quite natural, but we went into financial field, or governmental officials, into science and technology, industry, and agriculture. It means that our cooperation should in future become very comprehensive and far-reaching. And
I'll have to just interrupt you here and ask you to hold that thought, because I have to go for a very short break here, and we'll be back and we'll be talking about the same topic again. Let's take a short break. Nazarene, welcome back after the break. We're talking to Mr. Sergey Vasilyev and Mr. Mohammad Farooq Afzal, and we're talking about Pak-Russia bilateral trade. And before going on the break, we were talking about something regarding Pakistan's future economic cooperation with Russia. And I had to stop you in between. We had to go to a breaking news. So I want you to continue from where you left off.
okay, but Intergovernmental Commission,
Yes.
Very efficient body, I suppose. And from Russian side, the chair or co-chair is Mr. Ivanov, the head of Federal Service for anti-narcotics activities. It's level of state, Minister of State.
Right.
And from Pakistani side, a very prominent figure, Mr. Dar, your Minister of Finance. And it's
He is a very prominent figure.
yes, yes, yes. In the newspapers, almost on every page.
Yes.
And what's even more important, I suppose, it's on the highest level. We have
Yes.
such good, close relations. Last year there was Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit in Ufa,
Yes.
and there was made a decision that Pakistan, with all his wish, is very much greeted to become a full member of this organization. This organization is political and economical at the same way. And it seems to me that between our leaders of our states, there is a kind of very good chemistry. And this year we're having a lot of prominent people, political level, from Pakistan visiting Russia, at least according to your embassy in Moscow.
Yes.
And in our case, we have but Intergovernmental Commission, of course, they do discuss mainly relations on the highest level to remove the obstacles, like in customs field, like in financial field, and so on, and looking into huge or big scale projects. For me, it's very important to have not just these big scale or state-owned corporations acting actively. What's very important, especially in our case, I suppose in Pakistan as well, but also to have more interaction between small and medium enterprises, maybe mainly medium-sized.
That's a very
enterprises.
positive. That's a very positive way of moving forward. Here, I'd like to include Mr. Mohammad Farooq Afzal also in the conversation. Mr. Farooq Afzal, you've been working on Pakistan-Russia trade for many years now, and you've been always talking about the kind of catalyst that we require for this relationship to move forward. And you and I have been discussing this for many years as well on television. Do you feel that change has been now brought about by the renewal of this relationship, or a rethink on Pak-Russia economic cooperation in the future? And what is your view of the vision for the coming, let's say, 10 years or 20 years?
Well, first of all, I would agree with Mr. Sergey that the relationship diplomatically and only diplomatically, I would say, on politically, have been improved a lot between the two countries. But when we speak about trade numbers, unfortunately, those numbers do not represent, the right approach, I would say, because we still don't have much trade between two countries. The bilateral trade volume is just $390 million at the moment.
That's the complete
bilateral trade. And if you just review the potential which Russia has by having a 3.8 trillion consumer GDP market, PPP, and with per capita income is $23,400, and exports are $337 billion, and imports are now $200 billion. Those have been decreased because of also the economic recession, globally economic recession also. And bilateral trade volume is so low. Our export is hardly $190 million. Russia at the moment, because their currency has been devalued by about more than 100%, I would say, because against 30 rubles it has gone down to 65 now at the moment. So it is much better to import a lot of stuff out of Russia. I mean, as far as chemicals, fertilizers, power equipment.
That means Russia has become more competitive
in exports.
In exports.
In
right.
exports, yeah. So we have also potential, like for certain products, our traditional products like textiles, fruit and vegetables are on the top, I would say, 1 and 2. And then of course the other comes like leather, maybe rice or sports goods and pharma. But at the moment the demand is so high for textiles and fruit and vegetables out of Pakistan, which we can, grab the market. Unfortunately, because of the lack of awareness and the negative impression on Pakistani business community, people are reluctant to go to Russia actually.
Yes.
This is what we have to basically, I would say, eliminate or minimize this impact on the Pakistani business community, that Russia is not that bad country as has been projected by the Western media. So this is one, and I would say that Pakistan.
We usually complain about this.
Yeah, I mean,
who are not as bad.
No, actually, it is two-way. I mean, the same
situation
in Russia. Actually, even
yes.
we have been projected there as terrorist country. And for him, when he was in Karachi, they came. I mean, thank you for them that they came with a trade delegation, and they have been impressed, by the city, by the meetings and everything. And we have been to Sindh Board of Investment, to TDAP, to Spark Steel Mills, and we have meetings with a lot of people here,
And Chamber of Commerce.
And Chamber of Commerce, Federation of Chamber of Commerce. So we had a very good meeting there. So there was B2B meetings and everything, and they are very much satisfied about the outcome of their visit here, and they're impressed about this potential Pakistan has. Because CPEC is coming in, so we have told them, look, this is the right time for you guys to get into this market to export your products in like gas turbines or compressors, excavators, pipe layers, whatsoever, and other power equipments. So Pakistan is now a good market for them. It can be a good market. We need to improve the numbers, trade numbers actually. I mean, we have talked a lot over the past years about relationship and everything. But practically, I would say that.
What is your area of focus? Do you want more textiles to be going there? And what do you want from there? What is your specific single product or single sector that you want to target when it comes to import? I mean, I'm talking numbers.
Yeah, numbers. You see, the thing is, let me tell you that the fruit and vegetable market, the fruits and vegetable market is about $40 billion market size of Russia. Right. And we are exporting $130 million only, fruits and vegetables. That includes potatoes and kinnus. That's it, you see. So against that having market, in $40 billion, yes, food is also inclusive like meat and dairy products, but only fruit and vegetable has more than $10 billion market size. And our export is hardly 130 million. So our exporters must focus this country for the exports of fruits and vegetables, and that's a great market, to tell you.
That is the singular sector that you feel can bring in the numbers.
Exactly.
And what is that you want to export to them?
That's what
textile.
I
mean,
import.
in the sense, what do you want to import?
Yeah. Import, actually, you see, Pakistan is shortage of power, energy. You see, and their equipments are very efficient and durable. I would say the technology is very good. And since
during the Soviet era, they had cities which had only responsibility of producing energy.
Exactly. And I believe that if we import these kind of things, then the second thing is
not cities but corporations.
Corporations, they have been converted into.
I'm going to talk about that especially because people need to know about the image change that has been brought about. Yes, I'd like to complete that.
Industrial machines, actually, they are.
But are they as good as the? I'm keeping it aside. I really don't want you to mind that. But it's usually a tendency that we believe that Western manufacturers of mechanical or heavy machinery are much better. And brands like DeWalt, if I name, or others for heavy machinery or mechanical machinery are usually in the West. Most people think that North America or maybe some certain European countries, especially Germany, is much better by quality. Are Russian machines as competitive as that?
Do we have used ever these machines? How we can compare?
Yeah, you're right about that. I'll ask you to hold that thought again. I have to go for another break. Let's take a short break and we'll be back in a very short period of time. Welcome back after the break. We were discussing Pak-Russia bilateral trade. Before going to the break, we were discussing this with two very prominent guests who are apt for this subject, Mr. Sergei Vasilyev, the acting chairman of Russian Business Council for Cooperation with Pakistan, and Mr. Muhammad Farooq Afzal, chairman Pakistan-Russian Business Council, and he's a very frequent guest to our program. So he was trying to sum up Pakistan's view or vision with regard to numbers. And you said that the possible imports from Russia are?
Actually, they are industrial products, power equipments, and construction equipments, agricultural equipments. And as you asked me that, are they good as European products in quality and all that stuff? The thing is that we have never given them a fair chance to participate in any bidding, or we have never used their products actually. So how we can compare that, are they good or bad as per comparing it to US and the European products? So even we have two guests with us, and they have come from Russia actually. One of them is from the Rostec, one of the largest company in Russia. They are the one who are going to basically put up this LNG pipeline. So that gentleman is from that company. Compressors, yeah. They are into compressors and all that stuff actually. And the other one is from industrial products, excavators, pipe layers, and they are also having 20,000 employees. They have their different plants, and they participated in different bidding here in Pakistan. But unfortunately, what happened that in the bidding process, they had put up standards, US standards or European standards. So how they can compete? I mean, they have compatible products, so there should not be any specified these kind of standards.
You want global standards.
Global standards, and we should compare whether they are durable, efficient, and economical. So
now, in Pakistan, usually, I'm just mentioning for discussion's sake, most of this equipment is used and coming from Japan, the specific area that you're talking about, and certain brands are dominating the market. When you talk about new, I won't like to name the company because it has a presence here in Pakistan. A specific North American company dominates heavy machinery in Pakistan. Mr. Sergei is also aware of it. You are also aware of it.
And what's important, we have discussed with Mr. Farooq this topic already, that the main position is not the energy efficiency, but just the horsepower. For example, if you have very energy efficient equipment, but is instead of 320, in this case Russian company can't take part in a bidding, even if the energy efficiency is high in comparison with other equipment.
Yes? Yeah, this is right. Yeah.
So you want apples to be compared with apples,
exactly.
Not apples compared with oranges, right? I think that's fairly there. Now there's one thing that I have in my mind, and I want to clarify with Mr. Sergei here, is that we have a general impression that since Russia has emerged out of command economy, perhaps how well has it adjusted to the modern times and of course the free market economy. And as you were mentioning, there are private corporations that have taken over the responsibility that was previously assigned by the Planning Commission to certain areas or cities. Now, how is the new corporate environment or economic environment in Russia?
In our case, we have both state-owned, mainly state-owned corporations like Rostec. It means technology, Russian technology.
Right.
And they have under the umbrella more than 600 different kinds of plants, beginning from tractors, turbines, up to scanners, electronic components, and so on. So it's very important that last year there was very good representation of this Rostec at the Business Forum and Intergovernmental Commission in Islamabad.
Right.
And one of our Alexanders, who is a very young but very efficient manager, Alexander Yakovlev, he is from the same corporation.
Right.
And the second, also Alexander Milin, he is from the private sector, as Mr. Farooq has already mentioned, more than 20,000 people. But the numbers of people are not so important, maybe, because just today we visited Pak Steel. They have a huge workforce, but to my great regret and even shame, it is not working properly for about
That is, you know, at one time, I don't know about right now, at one time we called it the biggest industrial complex in Pakistan.
Yeah.
At one time.
Yes.
I don't know whether that still holds
Still
right
as
now.
far as area is concerned, it is, yeah.
So, but I have been told by Mr. Farooq and a number of other people that in Russia, this capacity of a steel mill is not really considered that big. You have much bigger
much bigger,
much
of
bigger
course,
steel
of course,
mills.
of
And
course.
you named a region where, what was the
I
name of that?
suppose Urals,
Yeah,
Novolipetsk, and
Yes.
so on. Magnitogorsk.
Yes,
Magnitogorsk,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Magnitogorsk.
We heard about Magnitogorsk.
In Soviet Union times, we used to produce 120 million tons. Of course, not that much as nowadays China of steel. I mean,
That is 120 million tons,
Tons.
let's say. More than that. It's been so long. It's 24 years now. If
yes,
I'm
yes.
not wrong.
But now we have about 60, of course. Not that much is needed to our.
And the private sector
industry.
is in your steel
Yes,
industry?
yes, and the most companies dealing in steel mill sector are private ones, very big business people, billionaires, and who are very, very effective and energetic people, taking all the risks. Sometimes, of course, they rely on the support from the state, but in general, it's their own responsibility. And we have in Russia several business organizations.
So how does the Russia of today look like? Does it look like the way it used to look during the Soviet era with straight buildings and lesser style, or now when I look at modern popular Russian culture, I see a lot of musicians, a lot of very smartly dressed individuals in very fancy cars from the West. It has transformed.
Yes, it has transformed, and not just the appearance of people, but the appearance of cities as well, especially big ones and small ones as well. By the way, it's very important that they are becoming more and more convenient to live in. And I can quote Mr. Munir after his first visit last year to Moscow. He told me that it's a
I
wonderful
apologize
place.
to my dear guests that I have unfortunately run out of time. So I'll have to thank both of you. And I only wish that Mr. Sergey would have been here longer, then we would have had another program with him. Unfortunately, the duration of the program is very short. Mr. Sergey Vasilyev, the acting chairman of Russian Business Council for Cooperation with Pakistan, we are extremely grateful that you took out time from your precious time here, and Mr. Farooq Afzal, the chairman of Pakistan-Russia Business Council. Thanks
Thank you
both
so
of you.
much for you.
We've again run out of time, and here I'll have to just finish this off really quickly. We'll see you tomorrow, and bye from my end.